So let's look at the 4 different types of wayfinding systems. Okay, let's take a look. Wayfinding signage typically falls into these 4 categories: directional signs, informational signs, identification signs, or regulatory signs. So I'm going to show you photographs afterwards, after I just talk about these for a minute or two. Then I'm going to show you some examples of each of these. So it's going to become quite clear in a minute. So there are 4 main types of signage, and most signs that we have in wayfinding signage can be placed into one of these 4 categories. And these 4 categories, as I've mentioned, are directional signs. These help to guide users to specific locations. Quite often you see arrows pointing to exits or to the restrooms or the toilets, guiding people in a certain direction. Then you have informational signs. These provide details about the space. So you have directories or floor plans. I will show you examples in a minute. Then we have identification signs, which are like label specific rooms, or they demark specific areas or rooms, such as office names, store numbers, a door number. So that's an example. And then we have regulatory signs. So they communicate rules and safety information. It can include emergency exit signs and many other types of signs, as we will see. So when designing systems for wayfinding, it's important to consider how these signs work together to guide users from the start to the finish. So let me show you some examples of each signage type. Let me show you on computer here. So here's an example of directional signage. You can see where it says pedestrian flow zone, keep moving, and it's got an arrow. So this is a finger post signage that directs people in a certain direction. Just to explain also what finger post signage is, this is when you have signage on a tall pole and there are directional signs pointing out like different fingers on the sign. So this is known as finger post signage. And there will be a download coming up at the end of this section where I will have all the different terms. So that's coming up quite soon. Another example, here's another finger post sign. This one I took in Thailand, close to the Golden Triangle. It's another finger post sign, so it's a directional sign, directional signage. Moving on to one of the second types of wayfinding signage, this is informational signage. The sign gives you a sense of the overall location where you are, so there's a map, and it tells you where the main attractions and the main things are in this local vicinity. So in this case, this is a very useful sign of Cardiff Bay in Wales in the United Kingdom. It's certainly worth visiting, highly recommend it. So this is an example, a good example of informational signage for wayfinding. And this is a photograph I took in Norway. I would consider this type of signage that is painted on the road and pavement as informational signage. In this case, the signage guides people to understand which side is for walking and which side is for cycling. There is perhaps a better way to do this type of signage by also using colour coding to distinguish the cycle tracks from the pavement, from the sidewalk. But we will talk more about colour coding later in this course. So colour coding is coming up, and that's also a part of wayfinding. And with this red tactile signage, it could be classified as informational signage, I would say. It provides important information for those with visibility issues. They can feel it underneath their foot as they step on it, as they walk onto it, and it tells them that they are approaching the end of a pavement, or if you're American, sidewalk. Now in this type of signage, this is identification signage, so the third type. This is a good example from a photograph I took in New York City, one of my favorite cities worldwide. And on walking and then reaching the location, you know that you have reached the Brooklyn Bridge City Hall subway station because it's clearly marked. There's a clear sign saying Brooklyn Bridge City Hall Station. It confirms you have made it here. It makes it clear that you are where you want to be if you were looking for this station, of course. So if you've been looking for the station, you can clearly see the entrance. You know you've arrived. This is a clear identification style sign. And the fourth type, this is from, I think it's from a P&O cruise I was on. Anyway, it's on a cruise ship. This is regulatory signage that is used in wayfinding. You can see this kind of sign on many cruise ships, and it acts to guide people in moments of emergency. So they've got the directions towards the muster station on the cruise ship. So the place they have to go to in cases of emergency. Okay, I hope you found that useful. There's a link below to the full course if you're interested, to the Wayfinding Essentials course on Udemy. I hope you found that useful. Don't forget to subscribe, please. I'm Paul, the wayfinding expert. I've got a PhD in wayfinding and have done quite a few audits on wayfinding and quite a few academic papers. So I will see you in the next lesson, and there's lots of lessons coming up here on YouTube. See you soon.